All right, and welcome in to our first edition of the Unreasonable Odds podcast here on Super Bowl week. We're coming off a Sunday of no football, unless you count the Pro Bowl, and I do not. So no cash it or trash it. Steve and I had our first Sunday off since Labor Day weekend, besides being babbling bozos on this podcast and many other DraftKings programming. We actually do work a lot. So that was very nice. Steve doesn't. That was very nice. How was your weekend off, Steve?
You know what? Weekend off is a fickle term. You know, just because it's off from work, there's still plenty to do. So it was nice to not, think about football, but a lot to talk about for this week.
Yes. All right. So before Steve sends it over to our interview with our guest, a couple things to plug real quick. First of all, by the time you're listening to this, there will be winners for our Unreasonable Odds giveaway, which you saw on Twitter. 25 winners, tickets to the Super Bowl Millionaire Maker, $6 million in prizes for this showdown slate. And we are giving away 25 tickets. So congrats if you are one of the listeners that won. And, keep listening because we want to give you guys free tickets, free bets. So keep listening, get some money out of it, some tickets out of it, and hopefully win. We hope some of you guys win money with your tickets that we gave away. Second of all, we'll do a quick plug for the Friday podcast because we're bringing in Matthew Berry from ESPN. We haven't done much fantasy talk on the program this season, but we will dive into the showdown slate with one of the biggest names in the fantasy community. And if you follow Matthew on Twitter, as 1 million plus of you do, you see that he's been tweeting out some prop bets lately. So we'll talk some props with Matthew Berry as well on that Friday episode. And one more note while I'm here, we'll say this on Friday, but Unreasonable Odds going on a little break after the Super Bowl.
Oh, right. Yeah.
We will be off for a couple of weeks. Steve will remain off for a while, and I will come back ramping it up for March Madness in the month of March, as we did last year. And we did very well with podcast plays given out between myself and our guests. So very much looking forward to that again. We're hoping to have an MLB preview for you as well, but obviously the MLB season up in the air. Steve's in charge of that. Steve will be booking all of that.
Not only that, I mean, if it doesn't happen, I was told I was getting fired. So there is that too.
Yeah. Well, that's all right. I'll find somebody else to do the show.
But for today, we do have something for today. Bill Krakomberger, professional gambler. Vegas doesn't like him, but that's okay because we like him. He's going to be on the show here. DraftKings like him. He's going to be talking some props, all things Super Bowl. We are going to get to that right now.
And now we're bringing in our guest for this Wednesday, February 9th. I guess this will come out. Super Bowl edition of the Unreasonable Odds podcast. A returning guest, friend of the show, Bill Krakomberger. You know him on Twitter at Bill Crackman. You know his crackwins.com site. You know his Crackwins app. There's an app, right, Bill?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
There you go. Professional sports bettor. And in my head, if you watched the action documentary on Showtime a few years ago, in my head, one of the things that sticks with me is you with just a fistful of tickets for the Super Bowl, saying that maybe you're going a little overboard, finding props, finding edges. And I know you're going to be doing that this year. You told me before we went on that you have 17 bets so far on the Super Bowl.
19. I think 19.
19. Okay. Yeah, well, if you would have set the total at 19 and a half for me in terms of how many Super Bowl bets you had right now, I would have bet the over and I would have lost. So give us, I guess before we even get into this game specifically, just tell me Super Bowl wise, with more props than you can ever imagine, the cheesecake menu of football betting, what are you looking for when these Super Bowl props come out in terms of what you're trying to grab? Cool.
Well, first, thanks for having me on, guys. And thanks for answering my questions when I DM you and stuff. Really cool. I try to be the same thing and courteous to everyone. It's just the way my parents raised me to be. So I appreciate that. And I'll tell you, that action show you're talking about that was on Showtime, we actually filmed at DraftKings at resorts down here in Atlantic City. And when I said I went overboard, I probably shouldn't have said that. what I meant to say is well, I'll tell you guys. I probably haven't told a single media source this, but you mentioned it there, so it's kind of a setup for it.
We like breaking
what
news.
What I actually meant there was I brought a lot of money with me, a healthy 6 figures with me, and I ran out of money. So I'm so crazy about getting advantage bets in and positive VV bets in that I literally had to ask someone to borrow 50 grand until the game was over. And of course, I thought I had plenty with me, to be honest with you. But there's never plenty when it comes to these Super Bowl bets and props and stuff. And so I actually went and borrowed 50 grand and I bet it all. I literally, the halftime of the game, matter of fact, they showed the halftime of the game from my clip, and the halftime I had no money to bet. And I forgot. And thank God my assistant had 3 grand in his pocket. I said, listen, I want to bet the halftime here. Do you have any money? And I took the 3 grand off, and I actually won that bet. So I gave it right back to him. But, I held, a couple percent there. I like to hold, a good percent. I've had Super Bowls where I've held over 10%. But I'm happy with a 5 to 7% return. Sure. If I'm going to bet a couple 100,000 or 3, 4, 500, this could be a lot here for me and my team. This one actually too. But right now, like I said, 19 bets. But then again, when I say 19 bets, you're talking like I bet this before we came on air. I'm giving out a prop, I guess. I bet 3, 6, 8. I bet 8,000 more. Yesterday, I bet 2,000 or 3,000 on over punts, over 6.5 punts in the game. So,
I like that.
You're talking a lot of money. You're talking like that. Just one bet's 5 figures. So, I showed you a clip. I did show you a clip, and I'll be happy to show that again. I showed you a peek into the kind of money we're talking about. This was under 14.5 players with a reception in the game. This is no longer available, but I mean, you just look at the amounts of money that I'm taking on these things. 3,000. DraftKings takes bets from me, so they really good to me. A lot of the sports books here. Now, here, perfect example: 3 grand on the DraftKings app. I don't think I can get down a single sports book in Nevada 3 grand on a prop. There are 2 grand limits. So, by the way, let me tell you something. I noticed they're not moving the lines either. Now that one they did move, but it took a while to go under that 14.5 players. And literally, I go right in again and I'll take another couple grand, or I can go down to the resorts, and at the counter, they're really good to me too. So the books are good to me here. It's why I'm here. This is the sports betting capital of the world for me, and for many. I get more money down here than I could get in Nevada. And I know New York now is going to be the sports betting volume capital of the world. But as far as betting capital, for me, it's going to be New Jersey for a long time to come, unless these places, the DraftKings and the Vandals, the big sports books, get out to Nevada, which eventually they will. But it's a good old boys club out there. They don't want the same thing that happened to Cantor Gaming at the M happening to them, where they had a levy, or they levied like 30 million in fines against them. So they're a little more safe and careful. So anyway, the big game, they're allowed, they can't call Super Bowl out there. The big game coming up, and not as exciting as maybe the networks would want it to be. Probably the worst matchup out of the 4 that could have happened. Probably the worst one, but still, it's the big game. Their prices are out of control. I have a buddy that goes to the game every year. They want like 800,000. Venetian is charging the Venetian. They're trying to charge the Venetian 800,000 for a suite at the Super Bowl, which last year was 400. I mean, people are they're out of control, man. There's a lot of money out there.
LA prices.
Yeah, that's right. LA prices. You couldn't give me it. You couldn't pay me to be at the Super Bowl, by the way. I wouldn't even couldn't pay me to be there. So
all right. So Bill gave us a look behind the curtain of his DraftKings account there, which, number one, glad to hear that you enjoy betting with DraftKings Sportsbook and they take the action that you're looking to get in. Number two, it's a great plug, as we said, for responsible gaming. Everybody bet within your limits. Bill's a professional. That's why we're having him on the podcast. But a good reminder to play within your limits and play within what you got. But we got a lot on the board here, so maybe we'll finish with. And I know you don't even bet sides. You do bet some totals, but we'll we'll maybe finish, I guess, with an overall overview of the game. Steve, do you want to take us anywhere to start through the prop section? Because we have a lot that we can cover. And I will say, on the sweat this week, I gave out over one of our shows here at DraftKings, Bill. I did give out over 6.5 punts. I like that better.
Wow. Wow. Good man. Good man. Yeah, no, I hope you don't have my phone tapped. Good job. Good.
No, I don't. But anytime you feel like sending some plays my way, go right ahead.
Cool. That's a good one.
So one that I have definitely honed in on, and I know, Julian, you're going to be on this one too, is the Cam Akers rushing attempts. It's currently set at 16.5. That just feels absurdly high for a guy who's coming in dealing with a shoulder injury. We saw him leave the game last time out. Sony Michel got a little bit more involved. That's how he ended up with double-digit carries for like literally since the first time that Akers has been back. There's, rumblings that Henderson could end up being activated in this game. So I look at 16.5 against a running back who, quite frankly, has not been contributing since he's come back. Like, I feel like if anything, Akers being back has actually hindered this Rams offense because they've been adamant about getting him the ball. But when he has the ball, he hasn't looked good. He's not gaining yards after contact. He's just not really gaining anything. So they keep handing him the ball. It hasn't looked good. And then ball security has been an issue too. He had those 2 fumbles. I think it was in week 19 where he lost those two fumbles too. So I look at 16.5. That just feels like a few carries too high. So I love taking the under on that one. That's becoming one of my more favorite plays out of the millions that they have available right now. And that's subject to change because it's only Tuesday. By the time Sunday comes around, I'm sure I'll have a new favorite play. But under 16.5 rushing attempts for Akers, that just feels too high on what could be a 3-man running back committee in this game.
Steve, I want to tell you something.
Busting out the old school notebook.
Oh yeah, no, we actually, I'm not one of the guys that puts these charts up in these peaks. I know that's the way to do it. You go through this thing, but then these guys that are using these spreadsheets, analytics and stuff, half of them talk with their tongue. You can't even understand them. Their tongues out of their mouths hanging out. You can't. I mean, it's like talking and speaking in tongues. That's what I meant to say. So Akers. Okay, we have, just to let you know. Listen, it's the Super Bowl. There's the human nature, the human capacity, the way we think, this is the Super Bowl. This guy wants to be out there for the Super Bowl. He's going to do everything, building up endorphins to be out there, being a running back. We actually lean to the over on the yardage. I know there's another pro against me on the under, but I guess I got it at 58.5, 59.5 early on the over yardage for him. But the 16.5, that does, you're right, that does sound pretty high. Is that still available at DK?
I was last night. I'm trying to bring it up right now. That's still up, but that was there last night.
Yardage for Akers?
Oh no, carries. So it is still up. Yep, 16.5. Yep. Seems
like a pretty big number. I'm not looking to go under since I am rooting for him to go over yardage though. But I understand your reasoning behind it, and may the best man win. So here we go.
Here's what I'm kind of interested in. Here's what I'm kind of interested in on the backfield, because right now the 2 players that we have rushing attempts available on are Akers and Mixon, and both are set at 16.5. The juice is a little different. Obviously, some other guys are off the board because of we'll see Akers' official status. We'll see Henderson's official status. There's so much up in the air. Sony Michel's attempts, if that comes out like, the number I'm seeing could be like 5.5 on Sony Michel attempts. That's an over that I want if we do make that available on DraftKings Sportsbook. He had the 1 carry against Tampa when Akers got all the work. But the other 2 playoff games, 13 carries against Arizona, 10 against San Francisco. If you're giving me 5.5 on Sony Michel, if I play anything on carries, that's the one I have my eyes out for if DraftKings wants to release that one in terms of running back carries.
So they didn't put that. That's not up yet at DK. That's
not up yet. We're being smart with this one, I think, given the injury situation.
Status.
A lot. Yeah. I mean, when 2 running backs, we got to find out Akers' official status and Henderson's official status. It's tough to give numbers, I would think.
Right. Akers will be out there. Akers will be out there playing. Trust me, he'll be out there, and he'll be.
Yes,
from what I'm hearing,
obviously.
Yeah. Did one of you guys just say Mixon? One of you guys said that, right?
Yeah, Julian.
Well, I was just saying Mixon is the only other rushing attempts prop available on DK Sportsbook.
Oh, okay.
He's also at 16.5, but he's shaded -125 to the under.
Yeah, I didn't bet that yet. I'll probably be betting. Boy, see, I do this and I get myself in trouble because I know what happens. Well, I mean,
I know what you're going to say. You don't want to give it out before you bet it.
Yeah, guys, here's the thing. In volume, I think the average bet in this country is $70. I was just reading. So just think in volume, 70. There's so much volume going on where the sports books are forced to move the over, even though let's face it, the sports books come Sunday, they want under on prop bets. They want to be rooting for the unders. So, because most players root for the bet over. So, though this year could be a little bit different now. It's not the excitement for the points is not there what it was. We see what the opening line was, and it dropped 2 points right down to 48 and a half. So it may not play true this year, but I look to bet a lot of my unders more towards the game time, and I'm going to be looking at betting under on some Mixon props. I'm going to be probably betting some unders on him. Like I said, I haven't done it yet. And you know what else I'll look to bet on? Everyone loves to bet, will someone score a touchdown pass? It's or will someone get a touchdown? Of course, everyone likes like Cooper Kupp to get a touchdown. I look on the opposite way of that. I look to bet no on a plethora of players. Now, you have to have a good bankroll for this. I understand, because you're laying, 250 to 3-1. You're laying money on a lot of these things. But listen, the total being what it is, they're really saying there's only going to be 6 touchdowns scored, probably more like 5 or 6 touchdowns in this game. So maybe someone getting 2. You really only have so many players that are going to get touchdowns, and one may be the quarterback or something. So you only have so many offensive players getting touchdowns. The no is a little secret sauce, I'll tell you guys. I'm not mentioning any players. It's real simple, though. Go through the list. The no is really a good bet. But I bet that more towards game time because people like to bet the yes. So sometimes I'll get an extra 10 or 20 cents. I like to bet my overs early and my unders more towards game time. Though I did bet this morning, again, I was betting Van Jefferson under 2.5 receptions. I keep on betting that. Now, I don't know if people are going to I had that last game too. And it's funny, when I had that last game, he caught like the first pass of the game. I said,
yeah,
oh, God, 2.5. I said, I'm dead here. And then he didn't catch another one until the last drive, and he catches another one. And I have like 3 minutes to fade. And I actually did win that one. So I am going back to the well on that one early, which I normally would wait. And listen, you may get a better price more towards game time, depending on how the public, how fickle they are to bet over on. I think people will bet over on a lot of Rams stuff. And I think people may bet some unders on some Cincinnati stuff. I myself, I have a little bit of a heart in the game here. Not that I'm betting my heart, but I have a little bit of a heart in the game here. My dad was from Southeastern Ohio. As a matter of fact, the high school he graduated from, Eastern High School in Meigs County there, that is where Burrow's mom's a principal. So in football, by the way, I used to go back to Ohio every single summer in August. Boy, I used to go to the state fairs, football games. My cousins and uncles, everything revolved around those Saturday high school football games. So footballs are really, it's born and bred in their blood. It's amazing that, you would think Bill Krakomberger from the East Coast. I have that countryside to me. My father was a farm guy. And met my mom from the Italian from the Bronx. She met him when she was back here. And so anyway, it's just a little bit of a thing. Everyone's rooting for him. And I'm not going to have a side in the game. So I hope I'm not spoiling the end of the show, but I'll be rooting for him. I think 4.5 points. If you would have asked me this matchup ahead of time, I didn't think it would be that. I thought maybe 3 minus 30, 3.5. Right. 4.5 seems like a lot of points, but especially the way these games have all been going. A couple weeks ago, we had all 4 games come down to the last play. I don't know, but yet someone I really respect that has won a lot of Super Bowls. He has probably won 10 of 12 Super Bowls. We were going over this yesterday. He likes the Rams. So it should be, it'll be exciting no matter what.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you, because I know you don't bet sides, but number wise, in terms of the value, anything over 3.5 kind of feels like a little bit more value on the Bengals to me. I know Steve's Mr. Bengal. He's been betting them all playoffs. So I put it this way. I guess if you're looking at where the number, it sounds like you expected the number to be a little bit shorter. Can we say that?
I did. Oh yeah. I'll be interested to know. I'll be interested to know when I'm looking to get John Avello on my show too. So I'm looking to. I had someone else. One of the other big books on the East Coast. I had their director of trading, and I had someone on the West Coast. His director, the director there, at Jay Cornegay, great guy. I had him on. I was shocked to see these numbers. These splits actually shocked me. 69% of the money on the Bengals here. I can tell you.
I can tell you as we record. We
Yeah.
record this on Tuesday. This interview's on Tuesday, February 8th. I can tell you the DraftKings Sportsbook numbers as of this morning. The number sits at 4. It's been 4.5. It's 4. 62% of the tickets and 54% of the handle are on the Bengals spread. 65% of the tickets, 54% of the handle on the Bengals money line, which is at plus 170.
Always money line is always the way the public's going to go. Usually you get the best money lines out in Vegas on the dog, or maybe even these sports books here on the East Coast. Now you say that 54% is the number I'm interested in. It's not the ticket handle. The ticket handle we know is the public. But I think by the time the ball is put in the air, I think the sports books are going to be rooting for the Bengals. I think the sports books will actually have lots more Ram money when the square. I shouldn't call it square though. When the public money comes in this weekend.
I've been trying to get away from saying sharp and square as well.
Yeah.
I don't like those terms as much anymore.
Yeah. Well, there's sharp stuff as far as proposition bets go and stuff. I mean, there's definitely sharp things on that. And we're talking about college basketball, there's definitely sharp things in there. But everyone's betting the Dukes of the world when, other people are betting the Virginias of the world, the sharp guys. So, but as far as Super Bowl games and NFL sides go, I don't. There was some syndicate groups years ago. The old man, Doc Midland, who's still alive at 95, he had some of the sharpest NFL stuff. Mr. Walters, Billy Walters always had some good NFL stuff for years. But the main handicapper there passed away. So there's a lot of, it's tough. It's tough to beat. There's so much more information now than there was 25 years ago on the media and social media and TV and stuff. There's so much more information now, which makes the sides much harder to beat. And someone recently said to me, Bill, you have the crack win site. Why are you telling people NFL is so hard to beat? Listen, it's a little first of all, it's a secondary thing for me. I'm always going to tell people how I think and speak my mind no matter what. Nothing's ever going to control me like that. And second of all, I don't bet. Yeah, okay. I bet totals. I bet first half totals. I bet props. I'm going to have a dozen props for my guys this week. That's just what I do. So anyway, yeah. So but don't get carried away. Oh, something you said. Good. My mind just went back to it. You said, Julian, that about responsible gaming and stuff. Guys, I know anyone listening here, I know you guys want to jump and probably bet your whole entire bankroll on this game and stuff. It's fun to do, I understand, but spread it out where you can make that 2-3%. You want to bet 5% on the prop? Go ahead. I'll even tell you can do that. But don't go so crazy where just because it's one game, it's just one game. What are you going to do for March Madness if you blow your bankroll here 6 weeks early? So that's all I'll say. 5 weeks early.
So I'm kind of curious if you have a play on the total here. This got hammered down almost immediately when the lines came out. I think it opened at 49.5 and it was just hammered down about 2 points very, very quickly here. Any thought on that? Because really ever since it got hammered down there, it's basically stayed at 48.5 since then. I keep switching my mind on this because I'm trying to play this through my mind. Whereas, I think people worry about if the Bengals are going to score because, all the pressure that Joe Burrow is going to be under. But in that same breath, he was under a ton of pressure against the Titans, who sacked him 9 times. He still threw for over 300 yards in that game, and the Bengals came away with the win. So, and we saw the adjustments, and Julian knows about the second half adjustments the Bengals made against the Chiefs. And Burrow looked amazing after that.
Never seen a turnaround like that in a game. I'm not even kidding. Not even like Patriots Falcons Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to Patrick Mahomes, whatever Patrick Mahomes ate or drank at halftime, don't do that again because I don't know what happened to him.
Yeah, I was just checking. That's why I was just checking on the phone. I found a line, a good line Sunday night on the first half here in New Jersey. It's no longer available. I found the under 24.5 minus 30 on the first half. I think this game starts out slow.
Wow.
The first half total. I think it starts out slow, like a lot of Super Bowls do. They start out slow. I think this game starts out slow. It's the reason why. Did I tell you guys the punts over? Did I say that earlier?
Yeah.
Punts over 6.5. Yep.
Yeah, I think that's why it's kind of correlated to that. I think that's the reason why too. I think there's gonna be some punts in the game, and I think this game starts out slow. So I actually like the first half under, but I don't like the 23.5. There's key numbers. Yes, there are key numbers in NFL. What's the first half going to land on? 17, 20, 21, 24. So I found the under 24.5, which you might find an alternative line. I wouldn't lay more than 140, 130. It's still at the sports book under 24, actually minus 120. But I wouldn't bet the 23.5. I do think I lean more towards the under first half. Second half, who knows? There could be fireworks like we've seen in other games. So it's Super Bowls tend to start out a little bit slower. It could be the jitters, first-time quarterbacks, first-time players. It's just in general the being in that moment where a lot of games. Listen, if this game was Week 10 in the NFL and the Bengals were playing the Rams, I probably wouldn't even have no interest in it. But it is what it is, and that's the reason why we're given what we're given, and we go with it. So hopefully it's still one of the big Super Bowls and exciting Super Bowls. I don't think it can get more exciting than the last couple of weeks that we've had.
I think it's kind of interesting too, because I think there's some recency bias, especially when it comes to the Bengals. Both of these, the few playoff games that they played, they've started off really slow, and then they really kind of come together in the second half. That's why I've seen like these come from behind wins. But still, over the course of the entire season, both the Bengals and the Rams are some of the best scoring first half teams in the league. They're both averaging over 13 points per game. I think it's the Rams were approaching 14 by coming into this one. So I like the idea about the first half under, but at least from what we've seen from the long term, that's a total that could be in danger because of how well both of these teams, at least during the regular season, played in the first half. Situational,
absolutely correct, Steve. They have been good two first half scoring teams. I think situational though. This is a different animal here. We got the Super Bowl. Like I said, that jitters is a big word for a professional athlete. It's too strong of a word, but for lack of a better word, it's the word I use. I think that I actually even like. I didn't bet this one yet though. I lean towards this, so I don't know if it'll be how strong it'll be. I actually like both teams again to punt first rather than score. I think but I just don't like laying like this seems like minus 150 on the Bengals. I just don't like laying that kind of. I don't like laying big juice on anything. Someone gave me a really good bet last night, but you have to lay 5-1. But it's like a 95%. If it's something's a 95% bet or a 90% bet, probably good laying 5-1. But I don't think it's about deferring. Will either team defer? Will they defer the kickoff? Which is you lay 5-1. It's probably a good bet, safe bet. But I hate being in a hole where if I automatically before the ball's even in the air, I got to make up 5 props. I don't like doing it. So I find that kind of interesting. A lot of people are on a lot of things like that, though. I actually do like one of the ones that many sharp guys are on. I took 155 and 145 on this, and I see it. Any plus money I thought was a good bet, but I hate when everyone's on the same thing. Will the kickoff be returned, or will it be I'm at a lack for the word. I'm sorry, guys. A touchback.
Here's the prop. Here's the prop. Will the opening kickoff be a touchback?
Yeah. Well,
this is what I was going to bring up.
Everyone loves this.
This is what I was going to end with.
Wow. Okay.
Because last year, I think the yes got up to minus 300 because these kickers, and it's closer. Everybody just kicks it out and it's a touchback.
Yeah.
Except in the Super Bowl, when they bring the ball out late and put it right on the stand rather than the kicker touching it. As soon as you kick it off, they take it from you and bring it to the Hall of Fame. It's different. And then the kicker is nervous.
Yeah.
Because all the photos that go off, all the flashes in the stadium when that opening kick goes off. So the kicker's nervous. The ball's a little different. Pat McAfee has come out and said, who has done a Super Bowl opening kickoff, that it was like kicking a brick.
Yep, that brand new ball goes right to the Hall of Fame. You're spot on there.
Seven of the last 8 Super Bowls, the opening kick has been returned. It is not.
Don't tell me stuff like this.
20.
I'll read this. So Steve, I get this.
26 of the last 28 Super Bowls, the kickoff has not been a touchback.
No, I know. I'm saying don't tell me this because this is not a bet I wanted to take. Like, I didn't want to add this to the list.
Yeah, well,
I just want to give the price before you go, Bill. I just want to give the price before you go your stat. DraftKings Sportsbook has no at plus 110. So maybe not. Maybe it's come down a little. Maybe it's not the best price, but like you said, plus money on the opening kick not to be a touchback.
Yeah, well, I bet $6,000 on this, so just to let you guys know. Here now. So my prop kid gives it to me. He says, "Hey, it's plus 160 and plus 145 at one of our spots here." As a matter of fact, I bet it and it got taken down after I bet it. I don't know. It's not even back up. I don't know. Took it down. Anyway, so it's plus 125, plus 110. I'm not looking to take 110. I could take better than that. But so my prop kid gives it to me and I run it by someone else that doesn't know him, one of the most sharp analytical guys. He says, that's interesting. I can count 4 straight returns, 1 touchback, 4 more straight returns, 1 more touchback. So the last 10, 8 were returned, 2 touchbacks. Prior to that, 20 straight returns. However, you can't count that because it was moved. However, he said this, and it scares me a little bit. So this way, Steve won't have to run down there to the ATM machine and go play this. I do know that each of these teams rarely returns kicks so that land in their end zone. So if it does go down to the end zone, they're likely to kneel rather than take it out. I still bet it. So, but however, the ball being that brand new ball, not used, not worn in, goes right to the Hall of Fame after it's received and it's handed to the official. Official goes to the sideline guy to throw it in the bag and it goes to the Hall. This is a very interesting prop that a lot of people are on. I probably wish that everyone wasn't on this, but I still bet it, and that's my conviction is my conviction. I'm betting what I bet. So there you go. I hope I don't force you guys to overbet your bankrolls.
No. You said everybody's on it. That everybody includes me. I am there.
Me too.
This is one of my favorite props. The numbers are the numbers.
Wow. That's right. So it's funny. You'll have action as soon as that ball lands. You'll have action right there. Most people have action on the coin flip. I'm not interested in doing that now. Years ago, 20 years ago, when you guys were a little tykes there was maybe an edge to the commemorative side of a coin, but that's no longer like that. I'll ask you, I have a question for you guys. Where will you be for the Super Bowl this year?
Oh, such boring questions.
Sorry.
We're working in the DraftKings studio on Sunday morning. We got to do our show Sunday morning. And then I got a 2-year-old at home. I will be going to a pre-Super Bowl party, have some drinks, have some food, and then I will be going home and watching the Super Bowl at my house.
That's okay. Listen, this morning this guy was where I was going to watch the Super Bowl. They were saying, you might have to go through a host to get the same seats that you have every single week. I have no problem watching it right here with no one around me, no one screaming and yelling, and it's fun. It's exciting to do it. I'm sure I will be in the sports book, but I mean,
I would rather okay to be trade with you.
No, it's cool, man. Kids are great. So that's cool. That's good.
Same answer as me, Steve. You're watching it on your couch with your kids.
Oh yeah. Yep. Real exciting. Yeah. Yep. Mid-30s. This is where we're at. Yep.
No, listen. I don't have any children, and I'm 20 years older than you guys, or I'm 53. I don't feel it though. I feel like a kid still. But I have no problem when you guys being good family guys watching it with your families and stuff. You know what? I'll remember to think about you guys when the kickoff comes. So
there we go.
God bless you. Yeah.
The kickoff is going to be extremely exciting. So yes, that's a good time to be.
And if they do run it back, you might get a text from a 978 area code. That's me. Good. I need some money.
Julian has my number, so good.
I got you. We'll be texting for the opening kickoff. I'm excited when it goes. More excited than most years when it goes in the air. I haven't had one.
That's right.
I haven't had this one before. I'm late to the party. Should have been betting it for years, apparently, at much better prices. All right. Well, plenty of stuff on the board. I'm sure you will see content from us. You'll see content from Bill all before Sunday. Going into more of this. at length.
I'm going to tweet out a couple plays too. You're right. Because people are asking me. I have so many people on Twitter asking me at Bill Crackman. I'll probably tweet out a play or two. Of course, crackwins.com. You can get all of them. I'll have a dozen of them, or more. So, but yeah, I'll tweet out something and try to help some people. It's so tough helping people, though. You give them one thing, they rate your whole life on it. It's so tough giving people. I hate giving plays out to people on social media because they're all hiding behind the safety of fake names and that they're nice little keyboards and using different names. And I use Bill Krakomberger, my real name. So
we're right there with you, and we know that game.
Absolutely.
All right. So Bill's going to be giving out some plays on Twitter. You follow him at Bill Crackman. Anything else you got going on pre-Super Bowl that you want to give the people? Not really. That's really it. I gave you guys a couple. I hung a couple props for you guys to look at. Yeah, I may DM you those about a dozen props to see what you like. Let's see if you agree. So, yeah, roll them in. We never say no to that. Especially from somebody like you.
It would be nice to get. It would be nice to get a positive DM for a change. So we welcome those.
Oh, cool. That's awesome. You got to have thin skin in these positions. I know that. You really do. And sometimes sometimes I don't, and I just have to. You block and move. Don't even pay attention. There's so many people that lie. They do things that we don't do. If you're a good person, a good man, a good. You don't think like that. I hate talking bad about anybody in the industry. I don't down people. Even like the people that were on Action, the guy on Action with me, I don't even down. It's just not a good look. My dad didn't raise me to be like that. So, but it's hard when people do it to you. I understand it.
Yep.
But I really appreciate you guys having me on, and look forward to being on it again in the future.
Appreciate you coming on, man. And let's keep the positivity going in the sports betting space, especially this time of year. Big games. NFL football winding down, heading into March Madness. So let's keep it positive. And that is a podcast, one of our 2 Unreasonable Odds episodes this week. We're on a little bit different of a schedule, as you'll notice, with this getting released on Wednesday, but that is because we are coming back to you on Friday. And we will have a special guest. We will have Matthew Berry from ESPN on, obviously a big name in the fantasy industry. So we'll touch on the Super Bowl showdown slate a little bit with you guys if you're playing on the fantasy side, and maybe talk to Matthew about some of his favorite props in the Super Bowl as well. So we will talk to you guys later in the week. Good luck with the Super Bowl, and let's make some money.